All right, we are in the house. Just gonna make sure that this thing is streaming live and I can see it. Give me a quick second. There's a severe lag on when it actually goes live for some reason. I don't know why. Ah, there we are. Yeah, buddy. Anybody in the house? No? Oh, looks like somebody is in the house. Who's here? Okay, let's see. All right, that's perfect. Okay, so my OBS is actually working now. I've been trying to get this thing operating properly so I can have some guests join. And now it looks like once I updated the software, everything is back to normal. So I will try to get that situated, get it all figured out because I definitely want some of you guys to join so we can have organic conversations. Sit here and talk, chop it up. You know how we do. Well, team, squad, all my riders out there, it is 2023. I wanted to make some moves and I did. All right. Now, it is an opportunity for me to, number one, own an exotic vehicle. I know. It's a Porsche Boxster S. We already know what you're gonna say. I had a conversation with a good friend of mine. He's into the world as well. Real big car guy. He had a really nice 350. Oh no, I'm sorry, 370Z. Mike, where you at, man? Haven't been able to talk to him lately, but I'll get with him in a little while. But yeah, he went from the 350, got the 370. He loves those Z's, and I do too. I think they're awesome cars. He took me for a ride, super fun. They look great, and the aftermarket parts and customization that's available for them is next to none. So I have to give him some props on that 370Z he has. So I've been perusing around. I had my mind set on three vehicles. One is not an exotic. One was the C5 or C6 Corvette that I wanted to get. It was between the Corvette, the Maserati, and the Porsche. And to be honest with you, I actually wanted a Cayman, which is about, I don't know, like $10,000 more than these, I think. But uh, it seems to me that Corvette owners and Porsche owners don't really sell their cars. And obviously, guys, I'm going to auctions to buy these vehicles, so they're going to be pre-owned most of the time. And one thing that I've noticed quite often is you don't see a lot of Porsches and you don't see a lot of Corvettes. You do see them, but it's very rare and they go for top dollar typically. So obviously, y'all all know T. You know I stole this one. Got it for a great price. Shout out to the auction that I got this vehicle from. They work with me. Um, I'd been going there trying to review a couple of cars. I've been going there for about a couple years actually, so they're pretty familiar with me. Um, Made the move. The craziest part was I was at work when I was at my corporate gig while I was had to take a little hiatus so I could make sure that I didn't lose out on this one. But after a little back and forth with another bidder, I ended up winning it. Um, Price is going to be undisclosed for this, for the point being, but I do want to tell you guys that I've already taken it for a ride. It is awesome. It is a great car, a fun car. Took me a while because obviously once you get that new car, you really don't know how to work all of the options, such as the sunroof, the tail, some of the radio situations. But I'm going to customize some of this. I want to try to put a Lambo kit on it. I've seen some pictures with this thing Lambo kitted and it looks amazing. So that's one of the things I might do. I'm not 100% sure if I want to do it right now, The goal for me is to try to get inventory out within 60 days, right? And let's be real, we're looking more towards 30 days. So 30 to 60 days. I might keep this one a little bit longer. I really, really like this car. I'm gonna hate to sell it, but everything must go, even the kitchen sink, fellas. It's what, February? One of my goals was to immediately get into this. I had a lot of things that I had to take care of in January, whether it be for business, personal, for my home, my property out there in the Caribbean. And so, uh, this is one of the things that, and I'm a little off topic right now, but we'll get back to this '07 Porsche Boxster S road test in a second. However, oh, it looks like we have some people in the house. All right, who do we have? Um, that's the weirdest thing. It won't tell me who was in the chat. But if you are in the house, leave me a comment. Let me know what's going on. Oh, we have three. It looks like we only have two now. All right. So yeah, just leave me a comment if you're watching. But so where was I? Oh, talking about the responsibilities and the obligations. So I it's an awkward position to be in because I'm sitting here spending a lot of money. In this first month, I've spent way more than I thought I ever would. However, I had to get the some other vehicles serviced. I had to get some new shoes for one of the vehicles, new tires, new rims. Um, I went and bought this one, and then some, auxiliary issues that I had to deal with as well. So off of the money tip and onto this beautiful 2007 Porsche Boxster S. So the one that I bought is all black guts, black exterior with the red Brembo calipers. Really makes it pop. I really like the look of it. I like the front of the car more than I do the rear. The front of the car gives me that Porsche Cayman look, but the rear is a little bit different. Now, when that tail pops up, it makes it look just a little bit better. And let's go through some of the information from Car and Driver, one of my favorite websites. I love this website. It's professional. They're typically always up to date with the information that they're putting out. I love their battles that they have with like the best car driver, best driver's car, best sports car. They do the is it? I don't know if it's them or Motor Trend, but I believe they do like a drag race as well with a lot of the new vehicles that come out. So we've got an article by Car and Driver. It doesn't tell us who wrote this, but we're gonna skim through this just a little bit. All right, so yeah, you see it says best sports car of 2023, best coupe of 2023, and then 15 fun, affordable cars that hold or gain value. I might have to do a review on that one. I love talking about depreciation, appreciation, all those things when it comes to the car market. But running in opposition to the logic that governs the rest of the automotive world, Porsche charges nearly 3,500 more for the hardtop Cayman S than a ragtop Boxster S, presumably with its myriad of electronic servos and labor-intensive cloth top. A convertible Boxster is more expensive to build than a fixed roof Cayman. That Cayman looks great too, guys. I don't know if you've seen those '07 models all the way up to 2023. When the Cayman S launched last year, we weakly justified to ourselves that the price increase at least bought more power as the Cayman S's 3.4-liter flat six had 15 more horsepower and 15 more pound-feet of torque than the Boxster S's 3.2-liter. But now we have no defense for the Cayman costing more because of 2007. Both Boxster models share their engines with their Cayman counterparts, which is good to know. All right, let's keep going. All right, hidden with the new Boxster S's midsection is the same 295 horsepower 3.4-liter flat six that powered the Cayman S last year, the 911 series until 2002. Okay, it's not exactly the same as the 911 spec engine, as 911 had a higher compression ratio of 11.31 versus the Boxster's 11.01. The bump in compression is likely the reason the old 911 engine made 300 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque, as opposed to the Boxer S's 295 horsepower and 251 pound-feet of torque. For most of you, for most of you, we're delving too bit too deeply into the esoteric world of Porsche minutia. Hey, were the were those pistons made by Maul? But that amendment likely saved us a bunch of angry emails from Porsche pundits. I'm sure it would. There seems to be a cult um, community when it comes to Porsche. Um, with that out of the way, we can tell you the larger engine does indeed make a difference in the Boxster S, but the difference would probably be noticeable only to someone who owned the 280 HP Boxster S. We'd be willing to subject ourselves to driving blindfolded to see if we could really tell the difference, but Porsche's loan agreement specifically forbids driving its cars while having impaired vision. In lieu of driving blind, we'll have to fall back on the numbers provided by our test equipment. All right, they must have dynoed this thing. Definitely looks beautiful. I like the way this thing looks. Now, it is a small car, so if you're a tall guy or a tall gal, um, you may have a little bit of discomfort. Look, I'm 6'2", I fit in it. Obviously, I'm not worried about keeping it, you know, because, it is for sale. I just have to clean it up a little bit, give it a little bit of a tune up, check all the fluids, make sure everything's good. Want to make sure that all the quality is there so when I do sell it, the individual that buys a car from Arizona Riders Club knows that they are getting top-notch quality, right? I don't want somebody calling me back 5 months or 5 months, a week later, 2 weeks later, saying, "Hey, this thing is on the side of the road." Right? Quality is very important to me. Safety is very important to me, and it's also important to my customers. So we take that very serious here at Arizona Riders Club. Okay, our 2007 Boxster S ran from 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds and through the quarter mile in 13.4 seconds. So obviously a quick car. To me, anything under 14 seconds is a quick car. Now, there's a difference between being quick and being fast. Fast cars are typically going to be 12 seconds or under. Quick cars, I would say 13s, 14s. Now, you may disagree with me on that. If you do disagree, send me a message in the chat. Let me know how you're feeling. All right, so let's keep going. 13.4 seconds at 107 mph. Not surprisingly, those numbers are right on top of the Cayman S as well as the 996 Series 911. At 13.6, 103 miles per hour, quarter mile. No big deal. Maybe in the rolling start, 5 to 60 mile per hour run. I do like those rolls. The superior mid-range power of the larger displacement engine makes itself known by knocking a half second off the Boxster S's time, 5.4 seconds versus 5.9 seconds. And we ran our 2007 Boxster S all the way up to drag limited 169 miles per hour, 4 miles per hour higher than the last Boxster S we tested. Pulling power from the 2000 RPM upward subjectively feels stronger, and 30 to 50 mile per hour and 50 to 70 mile per hour times are slightly improved over those smaller six. Another subject difference is slightly more baritone exhaust. Now, let's talk about the sound. The sound does sound really, really good. That exhaust system that this Boxer S has is boss. I really like it. Now, is it the best? Obviously not. It's not gonna sound like a Hellcat or one of these Vipers, but it has a really smooth buzz to it, really smooth ring to it. And man, when you get on that pedal, it goes. So Porsche was wise enough to leave the rest of the Boxster S alone, so the tactile delights that are the Boxster steerings, brakes, and handling all remain undisturbed and as pure as they've ever been. The only change would be we could gripe about is the $800 price increase from the 2007 Boxster S, but 800 doesn't even really register to the Porsche faithful, who over the years have grown accustomed to paying extra for everything from the floor mats to the privilege of being able to buy a club sport Porsche without a radio and a passenger side sun visor. Yes, That 800 pill should be easy to swallow considering the Cayman S still costs almost $3,500 more. All right, guys. Let's see. All right, so let's go through the specifications. All right, 2007 Boxster S. It just has a great ring to it, man. 2007 Boxer S. Let's get it. All right. Where we at? We're about 15 minutes in. We're gonna make it do what it do. If anybody is in the chat, leave me a message. How you doing today? Looks like someone is in the chat. I don't really know how to work this thing. I wish it would kind of show me who's in here, but it doesn't really do that for some reason. Okay, let's go back and get into these specs. All right. So, vehicle type, mid-engine, rear-wheel drive, two-passenger, two-door roadster. Price is tested, $65,035. Man, has this thing depreciated. I was online taking a look at them, and for the mileage that is on this thing, which it is higher mileage, the one that I bought, they're going for about anywhere from 14 to 16,000. Now, depending on where I sell it at, because I don't really use a lot of the normal methods like cars.com, what's the other one? Um, Auto Trader. Ooh, I think Kelly Blue Book has a site, and then there's a couple others. I usually use social media to get them off, and it's been very successful for me. I think maybe as I have more inventory, I will branch out and market with those or advertise with those outlets as well. But right now, I'm using free advertising through social media, and it's done wonders. So I don't have any complaints right now. Engine type, dual overhead cam, 24 valve flat six, which is one of my favorite engines. Actually, the inline six is my favorite engine, but whatevs. Aluminum block and heads, port fuel injection. Displacement is 207 cubic inches, 3,387 cc's. Power SAE net is 295 bare horsepower at 6,250 RPMs. And then we've got torque at SAE net, 251 pound-feet of torque at 4,400 RPMs. Give me a quick second. I want to make sure that I'm still good on the live. Yeah, it looks like we're still good. Okay, cool. All right, so transmission is a 6-speed manual. I love that thing in the floor. You cannot go wrong with an old school manual. Remember, guys, this is '07 before the paddle shifting came in. I think it is 2010, 2011 when they started doing the paddle shifters. I can't be 100% sure, but either way, I still love that stick in the floor, shifting through first, second, third, fourth gear. Man, it feels good. Now, we're going to talk about um, speed, agility, maneuverability, and a couple of other things after we get through the specifications and the rest of this article. Plus, I want to break down some more information that I have as well. So the dimensions, wheelbase is 95.1 inches, length is 171.6 inches, width is 70.9 inches, height is 50.9 inches, curb weight is 3,108 pounds. Now, I parked this next to a Toyota Camry while I was rolling it around. The Camry is much bigger than this. Now, they're the same length. It's just the height. The height, low profile, close to the ground, really low hood. Again, I'm 6'2". I fit in it. Um, and so if I'd say probably average height for this would be like 5'11". That'd be perfect. 5'11", 6 foot. I mean, plenty of room. You won't have any problems. Now, once you get into 6 feet and up, it gets a little tight in there, but if you've been in sports cars before, you already know that they're typically going to be uncomfortable. So let's talk about the performance with this thing. 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds, 0 to 100 in 11.5 seconds, 0 to 150 in 34.5 seconds. Street start 5 to 60 miles per hour in 5.4 seconds. Standing quarter mile at 13.4 seconds at 107 miles per hour. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I can get this to high 12s. I know they're saying 13.4. I'm a professional though. Top speed, drag limited, 169 miles per hour, braking at 70 through 0 miles per hour, 165 foot. Road holding, 200 feet. Dia skip pad at 0.93 Gs. Fuel economy, EPA city highway driving, 20 city, 28 mpgs highway. All right, I did a lot of research on this. I actually was looking into those three vehicles that I was telling you about, and through my research with the um, 987, the Porsche Cayman S, or I'm sorry, the Porsche Boxster S, what I found is it mainly has a wheel bearing issue, and then there's another transmission issue, I think. I can't remember the name of the piece, but typically that happens from like if I'm not mistaken, like 60 to 80,000 miles. And it looks like that procedure has already been done on this vehicle. So, whew, breath of fresh air there. We don't have to worry about that. Now, I bought it and it had some really minor things that I needed to do to it to get it all up and running. Need some turn signal lights, which is nothing. It also needed, what else did it need? I think that was it. Like the rear light, the turn signal light, and then yeah, I believe that was it. So threw it up on the rack, pulled all the codes from it, looking good. Um, Everything else looked pretty good. Um, so we're gonna get this thing cleaned up, get it detailed, and put it on the block, man. Everything must go. Okay, let's keep going. Oh no, it's nothing but comments next. Let's see what they have to say. It still infuriates me every time I see a boxer because I know Porsche is intentionally holding this car back from its true performance capabilities. I would agree with that. Just throw a turbo in it or make a GT3 model and my life might be complete. I'd have to agree. I feel like they could have made this car a lot faster. But we all know how Porsche does. You want a faster Porsche? You're going to need to pay for it. Now, let's talk about some of the stuff here. So I was looking on aftermarket parts for this car, and one of the unfortunate things about the Porsche Boxster S is there isn't a lot of aftermarket parts for this thing. They built it for Porsches are built for driving, track time, driving fast. They're not really built for quarter mile, right? It's a race car. Not only is it a sports car, it's a race car. These things are built for the track. They're built to get in there and drive. So that is one of the unfortunate things. Now, I did see a couple of forums where they started to explain and discuss certain aftermarket parts that you could add to it in order to make these things faster. Now, I have a car that's already faster than this thing, 400 horsepower Mercedes, and this thing it feels like it would be able to keep up with it just through driving it. Now, a portion of that could be because it's manual, and my Mercedes is the hybrid, manual automatic. But throwing this thing around, playing around with this thing, it feels like it gets up. And my favorite gears in this thing are gear 2 through 5. Gears 2 through 5 on this thing really makes it happen. Uh, Threw it around on the freeway, had a lot of fun there. Threw it around the neighborhood, had a lot of fun there. Um, have yet to drive this thing with the top down. I couldn't figure out how to get the how to get the top down. But this morning, I watched a video, went down, made sure. Well, I already knew that the top worked because when I went to review it, there was another couple reviewing it. They kind of gave me the stink eye, like, nah, this one's ours, man. And I was like, well, hey, let the best bidder win, right? And your boy came out on top on that one. Believe me, I got it for, I stole this thing. I literally stole this thing. I was I was really surprised because I asked the guy at the auction, hey, is there a reserve on this? And he was like, you bet. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, what's the reserve on this thing? He tells me the reserve. I said, I'm not paying that. You're out of your mind. I've done my research. I know exactly how much these things are going for online. And what you're quoting me, I definitely am not paying. So, to be 100% honest with you, man, it did not go for anywhere near what he anticipated. He gave me some crazy number up in towards $20,000, and I was like, nah, there's no way I'm even shelling out. Um, I, Now, don't get me wrong. If this thing was maybe 2015, 2014, something like that, 20, nah, I'd have to even go a little bit higher. I'd have to say like 2016, 2015. Then I'd be thinking about paying 25,000 for it. Remember, guys, it's all about the deal when you're out there at these auctions. You may see a car and you may like that car, but if it doesn't sell for the right price, there's no reason in even trying to buy it. There's cars that I see. Let's take, and it's the weirdest thing. Honda Accords. Let's take a Honda Accord, right? A little bit off topic, but I've seen Honda Accords go for double of what I would pay for them. High mileage, 160,000, 150,000 miles on it, going for insane prices, right? But we all know that Honda is a good product, number one. But number two, people overpay for cars all the time. They fall in love and say, hey, it's a Honda, it's going to run forever. I can sell it for more. Just because it goes for more at the auction doesn't mean that you're going to get that value out of it when you sell it. So that's something to remember on if you're going to get into this game. That's number one. Looks like we've got three people in the chat. Who's watching? Is anybody here? What's up? How you doing today? Leave me a comment. No? Okay. We'll keep going. All right. I think there is something wrong with my chat because this doesn't necessarily show or reflect the actual chat. Hmm. That's weird. Okay. We're going to just keep moving on. All right. The Freestyle Kyle. Happy Super Bowl Sunday. What's up, Kyle? It's been a long while, man. Tried to hit you up maybe a couple weeks ago, just chop some things up. Oh, you and I need to talk, my friend. I've got some spreadsheets that we need to go through, and boy, oh boy, is it good information. So I'll get with you in a little while. But hey, Kyle, what do you think? What do you think about this 2007 Porsche Boxster S, man? What's your opinion on it? Give it to me raw. Give it to me raw, brother. I know you'll always tell me the truth. And for the rest of y'all watching, Freestyle Kyle, this guy's been down with Arizona Riders Club for quite some time, man. And in all actuality, the invention of Arizona Riders Club, my man Kyle was there. So he's been a good friend of mine for a long time, man. Always showed love, always showed support, always giving me really good advice. I may have something that I need to pick his brain on. I'll shoot it by him. He'll give me his honest opinion. So kudos, Kyle. Salute to you, my man. Um, so I had a conversation with a person, and that person told me, T, Porsche is not an exotic car, especially a Boxster. And I said, first of all, watch your mouth. It's a Boxster S. And second of all, Porsche is an exotic car. This is considered, well, not considered, it is most definitely the first exotic I have ever owned. Now, we're not going to stop here, fellas. This is just the beginning, all right? I'm not going to stop until I get that Lamborghini Gallardo. I looked that man in his eye and told him I'm going to buy one of these when I drove it, right? I went to this driving experience. I can't even remember what it was called, but they had Ferraris, Porsches, 911s, Lambos, they had Vipers, they had all these supercars there. And I was like, well, which one is the fastest? So the Lamborghini Gallardo came out as the fastest. I think they had a 458 Italia, and the Lamborghini Gallardo was still the fastest. So I said, I want the Lambo. Got in that Lambo, drove that Lambo, fell in love with it, and I told myself right then and right there, we're getting a Lambo. We're getting a Lamborghini Gallardo. All right, now maybe it won't be the Gallardo. However, we're going to get ourselves a Lambo. Okay, so let's talk about some of the brands that they consider an exotic. We often hear people say things like, oh, I'm in a foreign. I'm in a foreign. I want a foreign, right? A foreign can be anything, guys. A Honda Civic is a foreign. Hey, we got Pro Auto Broker in the house. How you doing today, brother? Hey, shout out to you, man. You've been putting out some good content lately. And you know what? I got to give you props because you are getting these things out the door, my man. I think I saw what, three of them that you've already got out the door so far, and we're about 2 weeks into February. So hey, Unpro, keep doing your thing, my guy. But back to the topic. We talk about foreigns. Anything can be a foreign. A Mazda Miata is a foreign, guys. What we want to talk about is an exotic, and I think that's what most people um, actually are talking about as well. Yeah, no problem, Unpro. So when they're saying foreign, what they're actually meaning is exotic, right? That's what they want. They don't want a Honda Civic. Well, let me stop because I always have to catch myself. These cars are great. A majority of people are never going to buy any of these brands. So the bread and butter is in the average car, the crossovers, the not hatchbacks, but the compacts, the sedans, right? Those are the bread and butter of where I've been really, really successful with. Anytime I buy a car that's expensive, whether it be a luxury, specifically the luxury, let's dig into that just for a little bit. Luxury cars, it takes me forever to sell one of those things. Now I'm gonna get it off, right? We sell ice to Eskimos. That's what we do. But I can never sell a luxury vehicle in under a month. And I don't know what it is. It could be the marketing, right? Because obviously it's a different market, right? You got your people who are buying regular vehicles, and then you have your people who are buying, cars that cost a little more, right? So um, when we're talking about exotics, I had to do some research on it because I'm like, okay, so what categorizes a car as an exotic versus a foreign, right? So a foreign is an import, anything that is an import, not made in America. Now, it gets tricky, right? Because we all know that not Toyotas, but Fords, Chevys, Dodge, Chryslers, these cars are actually made outside of the country now. We've got plants in Mexico. We've got plants in Canada. We've got plants. Where else? Where else do we have plants at? They are international plants that make domestic cars. So technically, is there really a domestic car anymore? I don't know. Well, you guys tell me. Well, obviously we know the Fords, the Chevys, the Dodges, the GMCs. Those are considered domestic cars. And then the foreigns are anything that is made outside. So your Japanese, your Chinese, your English, your Europeans, your Indians. We don't have a lot of cars from India here, but they do manufacture cars in India. So let's talk about exotics. So Alfa Romeo, they have some sweet looking cars, and I believe the CC, Alfa Romeo CC and the Alfa Romeo Giulia are two of the biggest that are in the United States. Now they have plenty more, but the ones that you'll see here are mainly those two. Aston Martin. This one is a little bit of an enigma. They're there, but they're not. And here's my problem with Aston Martin. They are sweet cars. Now, we all know about English vehicles, right? And the reliability with these things. Jaguar, Aston Martin, Lotus Elise, uh, they're just not as good as other cars. And that's oh, McLaren as well. I had a associate who bought a McLaren 780p or 790p. Man, he was on the side of the road within a month. And I told him, you just bought a $250,000 car and that thing just broke down. That's crazy. Now it uh, could have been a coincidence. I don't think it was, to be honest with you. But hey, either way, Aston Martin is an exotic car that nobody looks for because if it drives past you, you don't really notice it. Now, unless it's a Valkyrie or something that is one of those supercars, an Aston Martin can drive by and a person will look at a Tesla over an Aston Martin. It's crazy. But they are sweet vehicles and they are still on my list. It You can definitely get into the exotic field through Aston Martin, DB7, DB8, maybe a Vanquish, like an older Vanquish. I've been looking a lot online for some of these pre-owned Aston Martins, and they're running around 45 to $55,000 for low mileage, good mileage on them. So you can get in there. Bentley. Who doesn't know what big Bentley is? I mean, I went to the concourse show, and there was a woman who owned a 2017 root beer Bentley GTC. I had never heard of that before. And convertible, root beer guts. This thing was amazing. She and I had a conversation for like 15, 20 minutes. I was just admiring the car. I loved the car. It looked absolutely amazing. She kept it up and she loved that car as well. So, Bentley GT and the Bentley Continental GT is my favorite. Now they obviously have plenty of different varieties of Bentley, but that Bentley GT's got the horsepower, the look, and it's just got style to it. Bugatti. Bugatti. Now, I've done some research on this car as well. At Barrett Jackson, I saw a 1925, or yeah, 1920 some odd, early 1920 Bugatti. It was amazing. And for the bang for its buck, there aren't many cars out there that are beating Bugatti. Ferrari struggles to beat Bugatti. Lamborghini struggles to beat Bugatti. I think the Koenigsegg Jesko, the Hennessy Venom, the Devil or Evil. I can't remember what it's called, but it's made in Saudi Arabia. And then a couple others. But I mean, there's maybe you can count on one hand cars that can beat Bugatti. Now we're talking stock, not something that we're gonna go spend $100,000 on and fine tune and get crazy with. I'm saying like a stock Ferrari. I mean, like maybe the F40, the LaFerrari possibly, but the smaller end, Ferrari America. Um, what's the other one? It's got an Italian name. All of them have an Italian name. Barcelona or something like that. Ferrari, Bugatti is up there. Ferrari, probably the best looking car. It's hard to beat the style that Ferrari comes out. That La Ferrari is one of my favorite cars ever, and it's just amazing looking. And it's not just La Ferrari. There's multiple different Ferraris that look amazing. Lamborghini. Lamborghini, if I'm not mistaken, used to work for Ferrari, left Ferrari, and was like, I could build something better, and started to compete with Ferrari. And I think that they're doing a really good job. One of the main ones that are going down right now is the SVJ. The SVJ is out right now, and everyone loves that thing. It is amazing. They've got what is it? The Aventador Evo, which is also one that is crazy right now. Lotus. Lotus, I don't know a lot about Lotus. I know they have the Esprit, they have the Lotus Elise, and I'm not sure about the other ones. But it's a good looking car. It's super small, but they are fast. Maybach. Maybach is, I believe, like a luxury. It's kind of like Rolls Royce, to be honest with you. Rolls Royce, between Rolls Royce and Bentley. I've seen several of them. Actually, my barber owns one, and it looks sweet. It looks like a big S650. Maserati, obviously, um, one of my favorite. I was looking to get the Gran Turismo. I would have settled, to be honest with you, for Quattroporte. I do like the style of the Quattroporte, but the one that I actually want is the Gran Turismo. Do you remember that game, man? That Gran Turismo game? It's been a while since I played any video games, but yeah, that was a really cool game, and that's where I really started to learn about the different exotic vehicles and what their models are. It was a really cool game because it taught you a lot about performance, engines, engineering, and customizing. So, real cool game. Maserati, McLaren. McLaren has a bunch of really good cars. I think the 720 is one of the new ones that they've just come out with. Everyone seems to love them. I like their style. Again, when it comes to reliability, not sure it's there. Obviously, look, we know any exotic car is not going to be the most reliable. It is not a Toyota Tercel, right? It is not a Honda Fit. These cars are going to cost. They're going to cost and they're going to cost a lot. So, in order to buy one of these vehicles, you have to make sure that you can keep up with the maintenance. And you don't necessarily need to always go to the dealership, right? There are multiple different uh, mechanic shops that deal with only high-end cars and they do some real quality work, better work than the actual dealership because these guys are actually tuning these cars and making them faster. Now, the dealership, I don't believe they do that. I believe they're going to keep these things stock and they're just going to do their thing. But these companies that deal with exotics, you have to be very careful, right? Please be very careful. But know that there's an alternative option out there. Okay, Porsche. Back to the car of the hour. Yo, I feel great. I feel really good. And it's a motivating factor. I want to tell you one of the things that motivated me. Let me give you a quick shout out, my guy. John Scale. His Instagram is Josh Scale. Joshscale. Josh Scale gave me a little push to get this first exotic. I was at the concourse in Fountain Hills about a week ago, and there had to be at least, oof, I want to say clear to $1 billion worth of cars out there. There was no car up there under $100,000. I take that back because they had some old like classics and historics. So they could have been like 60 to 70,000. But for a majority, I'd say average price of a vehicle out there was probably about 150,000. And so I'm having a conversation with this guy. Cool conversation. Everything was good. Blah, blah, blah. I'm taking some video of a Lamborghini. And so he's like, "What do you do?" So we start talking. I tell him about Arizona Riders Club. Tell him about the vision, where we're headed. He's like, "Really cool." He told me about what he does, private equity, e-commerce. And so we just, kind of chopped it up. And I was like, "Hey, man, have a great day." Jumps inside the Lambo and I go, "This is yours?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "How come you didn't tell me?" He goes, "You never asked, man." So we start chopping it up about the car. I told him I want to get into the exotic space, but I'm going to be super entry level. And he's like, "Look, man, do your thing. You can get in. You can get in where you fit in." And it motivated, man. It motivated me. Um, Yo, throw me something in the chat that give me a motivational quote or motivational sentence that has motivated you guys in this new year in 2023. But he just kind of it wasn't any specific one-liner that he said. It was the overall conversation and his attitude. Like these people are extremely successful, extremely wealthy, And they're just talking to you like regular people, man. It wasn't like this high, I'm on my high horse or anything like that. But that changed my mentality, number one, and it also motivated me, number two. So I wanted to go through, well, Rolls Royce. Let me finish my thought. I wanted to go through the cars that are considered exotic. Now, we have three or four that are on not on this list. Koenigsegg should be in there. What is another one? Fisker. Fisker. There's one more I'm forgetting. What is the last exotic that is not on this list that I am forgetting? All right, it slips my mind. But I wanted everyone to understand the difference between the exotic and the foreign, right? And I also wanted to let everyone know that you can get into the exotic world for a decent price. You don't have to settle for less. That's number one. Number two, here's another thing that I learned. When buying exotics, you buy these pre owned. Don't buy them brand new. There are very few cars that will not lose value immediately when you drive them off the lot. Now, they are out there, but we're talking about cars that are 500,000 up. So, let's just say a Lamborghini, right? You go, you buy a Lamborghini that's about 4 or 5 years old, right? You drive it around for a year. You go and you sell it. You've only lost five to $10,000 in equity on that Lamborghini, right? You sell it, you pick something else up. Now, that five, $10,000 difference is nothing in order to drive a Lamborghini, right? And this is one of the things that I was missing because I'm like, oh, I can't afford something like that, right? I'm working my way up to something like that. And also, I've always been a cash guy. I never wanted to finance a car just because I've been able to just buy things with cash lately. However, financing isn't necessarily always a bad thing, right? Depending on how you're structured, you might be able to write a lot of that off at the end of the year. Now, I'm not trying to give you any financial advice right now, but there are ways around that five to $10,000 hit on an exotic vehicle that you're driving. And I didn't really realize this until I started studying how these people were getting these cars, what type of loans they were getting, how they were able to flip them and then get into something new and not lose themselves on the vehicle. Number one, it's about the type of vehicle you buy. All right. It's all about the type of vehicle. Number two, it's about the price and the year that you get the vehicle at. Because if you're buying brand new cars, you're most likely going to be losing a lot of money. Now, type of vehicle, year of the vehicle, loan that you're getting, what type of interest percentage, because a lot of these guys are going to scoff at you. If you've never had a car for $100,000, they're not going to let you go in there and buy a vehicle for 100 grand without that credit history. Now, let's say you got about 50 large stacked up. Hey, you might be able to drop that and then only have a $50,000 payment left. However, me personally, I'm probably going to put that 50,000 somewhere else and be accruing some interest on it while I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with the car. So, just a heads up, guys. I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to let you know, share with you that we are in the exotic club now. Nowhere but up from here. Okay. It's 2023. As I always cheers, let's make some money. I appreciate all you guys for the support. Appreciate all the kind words, wisdom. If you need any advice or you just want to kind of chop it up with me, shoot me an email, arizonaridersclub@gmail.com, or you can just go to arizonaridersclub.com to pick up your merchandise. We've got hoodies. I know you want one of those saucy hoodies. So we've got t-shirts, we've got hoodies, we've got merchandise. Hit me up on the website. You can get to all my social medias from the website, arizonaridersclub.com. Please ride with us.